topics to get to. So it's finally time. Candace Owens, not only is she's back, but she's starting to point the finger at the president of the United States. And specifically, she's pointing the finger at him when it comes to everything surrounding the assassination of Charlie Kirk. When this first happened, we covered it here on the channel. I said this to many of you guys. I know and understand the impact that Charlie Kirk had, not only on the president, 45, 47, getting his second term, but with him reaching certain voters, specifically young voters, because of Charlie Kirk's platform. He was very close with the president. Him and the president had a lot of conversations, and the president was heavily involved in what Charlie Kirk had going on. Now, even with all of that being said, with Charlie Kirk's assassination, a lot of people had issues with the way Charlie Kirk was being treated on a national and international stage, getting the Medal of Freedom, having this memorial, have every politician from here to Hawaii speak at Charlie Kirk's memorial. And a lot of it seems strange with the way the FBI handled the investigation, with how quickly the president seemed to move on from things, with even, I'm not gonna bring up Erica Kirk. Some things were said about Erica Kirk as well. So it's all looking and seeming very strange. Candace Owens is going to get into it, give her perspective, give some inside information she has. And we actually find out something interesting here that I didn't even know happened. And I actually am going to have to give Candace Owens somewhat of an apology on this. We'll see here in a second. Check it out.
Anyways, now let's turn our attention to other allies. President Donald Trump. Of course, we have to arrive here because Charlie really loved Donald J. Trump. Okay, he loved him. It is unreal going through my messages to really consider how much he dedicated his entire life to him. And I mean, sleepless nights wanting to ensure that he got elected, reelected, midterm elections, hitting the ground, wearing a MAGA hat. We were everywhere. I was on fire for Trump too. I really believed in Trump. I really believed that if people could wake up to how quickly the media turned on him, that it could be, you know, this conduit to Black Americans understanding that we're being manipulated. Because my focus was all about Black America, right? And what I can say is that from the very moment that we learned the news that Charlie Kirk had passed, I knew spiritually that we were never going to get the full story from officials, right? Not from officials. I can't explain it. I felt that way. And then when Trump rushed to tweet out that, or social Truth Social out that photo, that AI photo of him and Charlie with the Star of David in the background, I just knew. I knew the investigation into who murdered Charlie Kirk was officially over, right? The officials wanted nothing to do with it because there was nobody more psychotically insistent that people stop asking questions about Charlie's death immediately. I mean, early hours, right? Than the people that are dedicated to the Israel lobby, right? These individuals, if you go back, people that are pro-Israel for whatever reason, were like, do not look any further into this death. In fact, I'll challenge you, do me a favor. Find me just one real life pro-Israel individual who is expressing that they don't believe that Charlie Kirk was killed by Tyler Robinson. The evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson didn't act alone, that Tyler Robinson didn't fire the shot, that Tyler Robinson didn't use a 30-06. Find me just one person.
Well, okay, I don't know about that now. I don't think I've seen conclusive evidence. Candace Owens is using the word evidence. I haven't seen evidence that points to Tyler not being the one who took the shot. All right, so we can say there are logical theories that have taken place, but all the evidence so far has pointed to Tyler Robinson. Let's be clear. So we've got our theories out there. We have things that don't make sense. The 30-06, I think, being the most glaring out of everything. But we'll have to see how the evidence plays out. I get where Candace is going with this, but I don't think it's fair to say that there's no evidence to point to Tyler Robinson.
The platform who's pro-Israel and says, I want this investigation into his death to continue. It's a bit weird, right? It's a bit weird. Dogs, very silent right now. Very, very silent. And there's like a stake on the ground. They're not moving. It's very weird. They do, all of them, however, I will say, want him to be honored, right? Mostly by your money. They want you to give to Turning Point USA. That's the best way, by the way, that you can honor him. Open up your pocketbooks. They don't have enough money there, right? Clearing like $100 million a year. They don't have enough. Open up your pockets, keep his show going, and don't ask questions is obviously the clearest way that we can honor Charlie Kirk. They want him lionized, and they did try to lionize him immediately as the most Judeo-Christian goy ever, right? He was basically, why not just put him in a yarmulke in some of these AI photos? That would make more sense. The direction, I mean, so instant. It's like just like trying to establish the legacy, right? And keeping with that, we want this to be honorific, not actually trying to solve what happened here. For Charlie's birthday, President Trump signed into law or established rather a holiday. And he decided that October 14th, which is Charlie Kirk's birthday, would be a national day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk. Okay? And I'm going to tell you how I feel about that. Truly Zionists that infiltrated my book club, you did not need to pay the $9.99 to find out how I feel about this. I don't know why people think I'm hiding how I feel. It's very weird. Like, when did people go, oh, we have to try to listen in to hear what she really thinks? I'll tell you what I really think. I think it's crap. Okay? What I said in my book club holds. It's never good when the feds are lining up to give you a holiday. Not good. You know, Martin Luther King vibes. Martin Luther King Jr.
I agree.
I think maybe the feds definitely killed Martin Luther King Jr. But in school, we get to learn about him. He's got this whole holiday. Oh, he was such a great, I love that I have a dream speech. Oh, the feds. Oh, man, you're good. You were so great. It's unfortunate that we had to murder you. I don't like it. Because the best way to honor Charlie Kirk is very obvious. Figure out who killed him first. Let's celebrate the holiday later. Yeah. I want to figure out who killed him first. And so I'm struck by this. I'm struck by Trump and the lack of demand, the lack of pushing on the narrative. Trump has really represented himself, at least as me, someone who voted for him twice. He represented himself as an individual who didn't trust the federal establishment. This feels like an easy layup here. Your friend.
Well, he is the federal establishment at this point, right? I mean, what's he going to say? The man's running a country. Kash Patel said he's got it. He said, we going to figure it out. We got Tyler Robinson. Let the local authorities handle it. He's moving on. Refurnishing, rebuilding the White House. I mean, I don't know. What's he supposed to do?
At least as me, someone who voted for him twice, he represented himself as an individual who didn't trust the federal establishment. This feels like an easy layup here. Your friend, he viewed you in many ways like a father figure, right? Hey, feds, what's going on here? And I said, maybe he did, because I was in this aggrieved stage and I really didn't poke my head up until weeks later when I could stop crying about it every second. And I said, maybe I missed it. Maybe Trump did actually say this is crap. Maybe he did call for an investigation. And we did a search on Truth Social to see how many times President Trump tweeted or Truth Socialed calling for further investigation into Charlie Kirk's murder. And there was only one tweet that we could find to that effect. And this tweet is not what I would describe as him calling for an investigation into Charlie Kirk's murder, actually. Here it is. This is the only one we could find. Why was the wonderful turning point under investigation by deranged Jack Smith and the corrupt and incompetent Biden administration? They tried to force Charlie and many other people and movements out of business. They weaponized the Justice Department against sleepy Joe Biden's political opponents, including me. They allowed the daughter of a judge of one of the corrupt trials against me to become the biggest fundraiser for Biden and Kamala, making millions of dollars for herself and her family. But with her father, the judge, not only refusing to recuse himself, but putting a gag order on me, not allowing any talk about their family corruption and unprecedented conflict of interest. That's not going to age well, the gag order thing, is it? Every leading legal analyst and pundit said this trial was wrong and should not have been allowed to go forward. But it did because of a corrupt judge who will hopefully pay a very big price for his illegal action someday. Okay. Scale of 1 to 10, how much is that do you feel about Charlie Kirk? I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. I don't know what to make of that. Like I said, it's pretty obvious. They want us to just look at everything and go, case closed. Don't you see? We're all united. We're standing up here. We're giving him a holiday. We're signing that. And we've got all these photographers here. Turning Point's chief fundraiser lady here. And she's crying. So obviously she loved Charlie. Kash Patel was there. Of all the people, unbelievable to me. They're here. Kash Patel's here. So you can see we're all united. You can totally trust the FBI science now. We're ruling out corruption. That's why we don't know what Jeffrey Epstein files are talking about. Because all we had to do was win against Democrats and corruption would be over. Are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? I'm sorry. You know, I've realized something actually and truly they made, in retrospect, the absolute best decision not inviting me to speak at Charlie's memorial.
Oh.
Like, kudos to whoever made that call, because I would have just been on my best Kanye. I would have jumped on stage and just grabbed the mic from Susie Wiles or someone and said, are you kidding me? What is going on here? What is happening?
Dang, I didn't realize Candace Owens wasn't invited. And this is the thing that surprised me. I owe Candace an apology. I shamed her for not showing up, although she could have shown up. But not being invited to speak when she was very close to Charlie Kirk, very much involved in Turning Point USA, had been on tour with Charlie Kirk, speaking with Charlie Kirk, was on board with the lot that was going on with Turning Point USA. For her not to be invited to speak, was it a good idea? Possibly, because as some people will say, and rightly so, Candace does have a way of making things about her. But that was strange to me, and I could understand her not showing up if she was invited to speak. I didn't realize that until Candace Owens said that in this live stream. Interesting why they wouldn't want her to speak there, because I could definitely see her crashing out on stage.
Because I would have just been on my best Kanye. I would have jumped on stage and just grabbed the mic from Susie Wiles or someone and said, are you kidding me? What is going on here? What is happening? Even Trump's speech, remember when he just kind of worked in the story about Charlie interviewing a fourth grader, and he was referring to Breland Holland. And I'm saying Holland, by the way, because that was his name when Charlie interviewed him. Because Trump wasn't there, nothing to do with Trump. When Charlie went on that fourth grader's podcast, his name was Breland Holland, and I was next to him. It was me and Charlie. What a weird story for Trump to just obscurely pluck out of thin air to say on stage at his memorial. He wasn't there. He had nothing to do with him. The kid had some connections and, of course, was really sweet and adorable and in fourth grade and super polite and energetic and was like, I'd love to interview you. I can't remember who the guy was who was his dad. I got him to interview with us. And all of a sudden, Trump's just saying the story on stage at Charlie's memorial as if he was there, and he wasn't. So what's going on? Regarding Kash Patel showing his face there, I legitimately do not know how these people do it, okay? I would literally die from shame. I would pass away right immediately from shame before I would show up to that event if I was Kash Patel. Like, did they breed it out? Is this a new breed of human that I don't know about? Where you feel nothing, there's just nothing. It's like a Josh Hammer thing. They don't feel any sense of shame at all. And they can just go and pretend that you're honoring. I don't understand it. I truly don't understand it, because I have to be a different species from whatever that is. I would melt. I'd rather melt at the floor than show my face, knowing how badly I was dropping the ball. The whole world was dropping the ball. How do you show up to work, Kash Patel? And the answer is he shows up to work and he demands that everybody stop looking into it because he's got it under control. He's got a very small team of people at the FBI that are allowed to touch anything pertaining to the Charlie Kirk case because, this is transparency. Finally, the adults are in charge, and it's going to be the most transparent administration ever, except on the Jeffrey Epstein stuff or the Charlie Kirk stuff, who was a friend of the administration. We got to be a little bit opaque on. Real headline, Candace. New York Times yesterday, pertaining to how upset Kash Patel was when he received an inquiry from Joe Kent, Tulsi Gabbard's office. They lead the National Counterterrorism Center. Joe Kent does. And Chelsea. Him inquiring about details into this apparently alarmed Kash Patel. Because Kash Patel was alarmed. He called a meeting, in fact, right? He wanted to investigate the assassination pertaining to Joe Kent. They were like, hey, maybe people overseas were involved in his murder. Maybe they were thinking, BB's saying too much. Can we just look at these files? Because it's our job, overseas terrorism. And Kash Patel was so alarmed by this, so alarmed that they would look into these files, that he held a meeting, apparently. Oh, what are you? This is not appropriate. It's not appropriate for you to be looking into this, okay? We don't want you knowing whether or not there was a foreign power or another entity that was involved in this. And this is the reason that Kash Patel decided to have a meeting with Susie Wiles and Joe Kent and Tulsi Gabbard and Trump officials. I think it said J.D. Vance was in this meeting as well, and nothing was accomplished. Because why wouldn't you, if you're the most transparent administration ever, share, get the help? Hey, we're supposed to be partners in this. Don't we all want to find out who killed Charlie Kirk? And the answer is no. We don't all want to find out who killed Charlie Kirk. I think that's apparent, right? It's pretty obvious that we do not all want to find out who murdered Charlie Kirk because they're not acting right. Nobody is acting.
Oh, man. Shout out to Candace. Oh, I interrupted
Susie
the
Wiles.
video. Oh, shout out to Candace. I messed it up. I'm going to leave a link in the chat for y'all to go find this. I'll leave a link in the description of this video too. Making some great points. She seems to be the only one pushing for answers. Again, being impatient, yes, it was her friend. He was killed. But a lot of us want to know what's going on. A lot of questions haven't been answered. We will find out during Tyler Robinson's trial. Obviously, the FBI can't reveal a lot, but Candace Owens makes some great points when it comes to what people are willing to accept that were allegedly close to Charlie Kirk. And specifically talking about the president. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.